Hi everybody, my name is Hannah and this is Pepper and Pine and I have a cooking tutorial to share with you today. We are making buttermilk pancakes from scratch. Now though I have made up this recipe, it's no doubt inspired by many of the recipes I have seen. So I'm going to start out with 2 cups of flour, and in truth I don't usually measure this, but I am going to measure it for you today. They turn out fantastic. I'm also using a 1/4 cup of brown sugar, and to that I'm going to add 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder, but you can also add up to 1 teaspoon of baking powder. I'm going to mix those dry ingredients together really well, and then I'm going to set that aside and work on the wet ingredients. I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of melted butter, but this is totally optional. I don't usually make it this way if I'm in a hurry, but this does add a nice flavor and texture to the buttermilk pancakes. So I'm just going to heat it up in the microwave until it's melted, and once that's done, I'm going to set it aside and add it as I'm mixing in my wet ingredients. Next, I'm going to add 3 eggs, and you can add fewer or more if you'd like. You can add more for more protein-rich pancakes. And then to this, I'm going to add up to 2 cups of buttermilk. So you can reduce the buttermilk and add more eggs if you'd like. I've also added the butter to this. I'm really looking for a particular consistency rather than a correct proportion of ingredients. So you can reduce the buttermilk and add more eggs for a more protein-rich pancake. But in the end, you want to make sure you have enough baking powder to make them rise, enough sugar to offset the baking powder, and that you want to thin your batter enough so that you can pour it. So you can also thin it with a little bit of water if you don't want to use too much buttermilk, and you can omit the buttermilk entirely and just use water, but they won't be buttermilk pancakes in that case. I love the flavor of the buttermilk in the pancakes. Next, I'm going to add some coconut oil to a medium heated pan. You can use any kind of butter or oil that you want, but I found that using coconut oil or any other kind of oil over butter means that I can cook them at a higher temperature. They get nice and bubbly and crispy around the edges, and we really enjoy them this way. If you use butter, you'll have to reduce the temperature of the pan and make sure that it doesn't smoke or doesn't get too brown or overcooked, because it will affect the flavor of your pancakes. Now, I'm making these really tiny pancakes, and there are 2 reasons why I do this. Number 1, it means that the whole family can eat together at the same time. If I made 1 or 2 pancakes at a time, it means that some people will be eating or the pancakes will get cold. And so by making them this way, everyone can start together while the rest of the pancakes cook. The other reason is that I have young children, although they are getting older, and I found that having several small pancakes was a little bit easier for them because they could adjust their proportions a little bit better and make sure that they were just eating enough rather than taking a big pancake and then leaving a lot of waste. So the second batch, I reduced the temperature a little bit and added a little bit more coconut oil, and they were that nice, beautiful golden brown that we tend to like. This batch made about 15 small pancakes, and that was enough for about 4 to 6 of us. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. If you want to check out more of our cooking tutorials, you can tap on the screen right now. The full recipe and more pictures are on the blog post that accompanies this video. You can find that link down in the description box below. And if you want to see what we're eating on a daily basis, you can find me on Instagram at Pepper and Pine.